Deep inside an ancient forest in Russia, where the trees are older than memory and the air carries secrets no one dares speak out loud, there is a lake. Not an ordinary lake. This one has no name on any map. The locals call it only the Dark Water, the place you never go near after sunset. Something lives inside it, something old. On this particular night, the surface of the lake begins to ripple. Then, 3 figures rise from the water. They are not human. They are evil water spirits, ancient and powerful, with black magic running through them like ice. They call out to the creatures waiting below. From beneath the water witches rise. These are the women who drowned here long ago, broken-hearted, betrayed, and alone. Their souls were trapped, and the lake's dark magic gave them a witch's body. They do not remember who they were or why they died. They only know one thing: anger and the desire for revenge. The 3 evil spirits give the witches their orders. The mission is simple and brutal. Find men, lure them, drain their energy, pull them under, fill the lake. In the same forest, a young man and his girlfriend are spending time together near the trees, completely unaware of what lives in the water nearby. They are laughing, enjoying the evening. Then the forest changes. A thick, strange smoke begins to curl through the trees, slow and silent. The girlfriend vanishes, just like that. 1 second she is there, the next she is gone. The young man spins around, calling her name, stumbling through the smoke, and then he sees a girl standing perfectly still among the trees, watching him. She is beautiful, and there is something about her eyes that makes him feel strange, heavy, like his mind is filling with fog. His legs start moving on their own, following her without his permission. She walks toward the lake. He follows, helpless, lost inside his own head. She steps into the dark water. He steps in after her. The water witches close in from all sides, wrapping around him, pulling at him, and when he is completely lost in their spell, they take his energy, every last drop, and drag him under. Meanwhile, the girlfriend is surrounded by a different group of witches on the shore. They look at her with cold eyes and say, "You are just like your boyfriend, selfish, dishonest, and fake." And those are exactly the kinds of people whose energy we need. The forest goes quiet again. 2 days later, a line of vehicles pulls up near the edge of the forest. Inside them is a science professor and a group of his students, here to study plant life and conduct botanical research. The professor is excited. He tells his students that this forest is one of the most ancient in the region, and that many old civilizations once grew along its borders. There is so much to learn here. But first, supplies. He sends everyone into a small store nearby to pick up whatever they need before setting up camp deep in the forest. Inside the store, the shopkeeper watches the students carefully. When she hears they are planning to camp near the lake, she leans over the counter and speaks quietly. "Be very careful," she says. "They say that lake in the forest is not normal. Water witches live inside it. Evil spirits, too." The professor smiles politely. "Those are just old local legends," he says. The shopkeeper does not smile back. "No," she says firmly. "It is not just legend. Every 4 years, there is one special week when the evil spirits and the water witches come up from the lake. During that week, they confuse people, lure them to the water, and kill them. They need human energy to survive." She pauses and looks at him seriously. "That week is happening right now." The professor shakes his head. He does not believe in spirits or witches. The students laugh nervously. They all climb back into their vehicles and drive into the forest. The shopkeeper calls after them. "A young couple went into that forest 2 days ago. They still haven't come back." Nobody listens. Inside the forest, the professor directs everyone to set up tents and install cameras at different spots around the camp. The cameras will record their research and also capture any activity in the forest around them. Everything is organized. Everything feels normal. That night, some of the students have disturbing dreams, dark, twisted images that cling to them even after waking up. The next morning, a student named Joy walks up to a student named Ron and shows him the laptop screen. None of the cameras are connected. No signal, no feed, nothing. They go to check. Every single camera has been destroyed overnight. The professor stares at the broken equipment in disbelief. "How can every camera break at the same time?" he asks. Ron shrugs and offers to drive to the city and buy replacements. It is a long trip. He might not be back until evening. The professor agrees. Without at least one working camera, the research cannot be properly recorded. Ron gets into the car and starts the engine. A girl appears at his window. This is Tina, a student who used to be his girlfriend. She leans in and says sweetly, "You're going alone? Let me come with you." Ron looks at her flatly. "Don't try to get close to me again, Tina. What we had is over. It has been over for a long time." He drives away. Tina stands there, furious. She is not used to being rejected. She is not used to anyone walking away from her. Her jaw tightens as she watches the car disappear into the trees. What neither of them notices is the figure hiding behind a nearby tree, a young water witch named Nini, who has been watching this entire scene with quiet, calculating eyes. Hours pass. Evening comes. Ron is driving back through the dark forest. The replacement camera is sitting on the back seat. The road is narrow and shadowed. And then, a wild boar runs directly into his headlights. He swerves hard. The car skids off the path and hits something. Not a tree, a person, a girl. Ron jumps out of the car, his heart hammering. The girl is lying on the ground. He kneels beside her, terrified. But then she sits up, perfectly fine. No visible injury except that one leg is bent at a wrong angle. It is Nini, the water witch. And this is not an accident. She was in the road on purpose. But Ron does not know that yet. He calls out for help. Two other students, Joy and Peter, hear the commotion and come running. Together, the three of them carefully carry the girl back to camp and tell her to wait while they go get the professor. The moment they turn their backs, Nini quietly reaches down and straightens her own bent leg. By the time the professor arrives and applies medicine to her leg, she is already perfectly fine. She says nothing about herself. When the students start asking questions, who she is, where she came from, what she was doing alone in the forest, she gives no answers. She simply stands up and walks away into the dark. She makes her way back to the lake. Three evil spirits rise from the water and look at her with sharp eyes. "You came back empty-handed again?" one of them says. "Did you not find any wicked man to bring here?" Nini explains what happened. The car, the students, the one called Ron, who she had been watching. She had been about to lead him to the lake when the accident interrupted everything. The spirits are not interested in excuses. They remind her that the special week is almost over. Only a few days remain. The lake needs to be filled with human energy before the final night. "Go back," they tell her. "Find sinful men. Bring them here. Fill this lake. We are running out of time." After the spirits sink back below the surface, Nini's closest friend among the witches, a water witch named Daisy, comes to walk beside her. "Where are you going now?" Daisy asks. "To do what they always make us do," Nini says quietly. The next day, Nini finds Ron walking alone through the forest. Ron remembers the girl from last night. He is happy to see she is all right, and he smiles when she appears. Nini begins releasing the hypnotic smoke around him. It starts to work. Ron's eyes go glassy. His mind starts to drift. He begins following her toward the lake, slow and dreamlike. But then something strange happens. As Ron walks behind her, he notices something on her back, a glowing mark, shimmering beneath her skin. Without thinking, he reaches out and touches it. The moment his hand makes contact, Nini flinches. The smoke breaks. The spell shatters. Ron blinks and looks around, confused. He looks at Nini. "What is that on your back?" he asks. "That mark?" It was glowing. Nini quickly composes herself and lies smoothly. "It is a special tattoo. It glows sometimes on its own. Nothing to worry about." She begins releasing the smoke again. Ron starts to drift again. Then, gunshots tear through the trees nearby. A group of hunters has shot and killed a wild cat somewhere in the forest. The noise breaks the spell completely. Ron's mind snaps back into focus. He looks around and sees the hunters laughing among themselves. Something rises in his chest. He walks straight up to them. "Why are you killing animals here?" he says. His voice is calm, but his eyes are sharp. One of the hunters laughs. "Is this your forest? We can hunt whatever we want." Ron punches him to the ground. "Every living creature has the same right to life as a human being," he says. A fight almost breaks out, but the leader of the hunters grabs his men and holds them back. He points a finger at Ron. "Stay out of our business," he warns. "This is the last time." The hunters leave. The dead cat lies on the ground. Nini has watched all of this happen. She watches Ron kneel beside the animal for a moment, his face full of something real, sadness, anger, genuine care. Later, when Ron and Nini walk a little further through the forest together, she asks him something she is genuinely curious about. "Why would you fight those men alone for a small animal like that?" Ron sits down on a tree branch and looks at her. "No living thing is small," he says. "They all have life inside them. That gives them the same right to exist as you or me." Nini does not respond immediately. These words land somewhere deep inside her, somewhere she did not expect to still have feeling. They sit together in the trees for a while, talking. Then Nini asks him about Tina. "If you care about people so much, why did you hurt that girl?" Ron shakes his head. "That's a misunderstanding. She was my girlfriend once, but she was selfish. She never cared about what I was going through. I ended the relationship because keeping it going was hurting both of us. What is the point of being with someone who doesn't see you?" Nini stares at him. She has been wrong about him. She came here thinking he was another cruel, dishonest man, the kind of man that witches are supposed to hunt. But he is not that at all. He is kind. He is honest. He feels things deeply. Ron makes her laugh. Real laughter, the kind she has not felt in so long she had forgotten what it feels like. She leaves without telling him anything about herself, walking back toward the lake where the other witches are resting on the shore. She sits beside Daisy and says something she has not said since before she drowned. "I felt happy today." Actually happy. Daisy looks at her quietly. The other witches say something troubling. None of them can remember their past lives. None of them know who they were, where they came from, or why they ended up in this lake. All they know is that they are supposed to hunt men and fill the lake with human energy. Daisy nods slowly. We don't even know why we died, she says. We only know that we are angry. That night, the witches go to work. Smoke drifts into the camp. Students begin to drift toward the lake, eyes empty, legs moving on their own. Ron is sitting outside when he hears something strange. He picks up his flashlight and walks toward it. The witches spot him immediately. They surround him, releasing thick smoke, pulling at his mind. Daisy sees what is happening. She goes to the lake's edge and tells Nini. Nini does not hesitate. She pulls a special stone from the bottom of the lake, a stone with the power to break spells, and runs into the forest. She finds the witches closing in on Ron. She steps forward and says firmly, "Sisters, you know this man is mine. Leave him alone and find someone else." The witches back away. Nini walks up to Ron and slaps him sharply across the face. The spell breaks instantly. Ron blinks, confused, looking around. Nini presses the special stone into his palm and closes his fingers around it. "Keep this with you always," she says quietly. "It will protect you." Before Ron can ask any questions, Nini grabs him and pulls him behind a large rock. Just in time, the three evil spirits burst from the water nearby, and their eyes sweep across the forest. When they finally leave, Ron turns to Nini with wide eyes, because he saw everything. He heard everything. He looks at her and says, "So, you are a water witch. You were pretending to like me just to bring me here." Nini steps in front of him. "If I wanted to hurt you, why would I have given you that stone? Let me explain everything. After that, you can decide what to do." Ron is quiet. Then, "Fine, tell me." And Nini tells him the truth. She tells him that she is a water witch, a girl who drowned in this lake and had her soul trapped here. She does not remember her life before. None of the witches do. All they know is anger and the need for revenge. The evil spirits at the top of the lake command them, and the witches have no choice but to obey. Every 4 years, there is a special week when the spirits need human energy to survive for the next 4 years. During that week, the witches bring men to the lake, drain their energy, and fill the water with it. The spirits absorb it and sink back below the surface for another 4 years. Tonight is almost the final night of that week. "If you want to survive," Nini tells him, "take your friends and leave this forest first thing tomorrow morning." Ron looks at her for a long moment. "You are protecting me because you care about me," he says. "It is not a question." "Yes," she says quietly. "I care about you too," he says. Then Ron says something that stops her completely. "The spirits control you because they erased your memories. Without your past, without love, without who you were, they can fill you with hatred and use you. But if you could remember your real life, if something good woke up inside you, they couldn't control you anymore." Nini stares at him. "Maybe," she says, "but how would I ever find those memories? They're gone." Ron thinks. He tells her that the river connected to this lake runs through a flooded old village deep underwater. She might be from that village. Her memories might still be there. The next morning, Nini dives down into the lake and swims into the deep river below. She follows it until she finds the sunken village. Old stone buildings, silent and still, covered in weeds and silt. She searches through the houses one by one, and in one small house, she finds it. A locket. She picks it up, and the moment she does, everything comes back. She sees herself, a young girl full of life, bright and happy. She sees her family. She sees the village. She sees the boy she loved with everything she had, and she sees the moment he chose someone else. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the walk to the lake in the rain, alone and destroyed. She remembers the voices at the lake, the evil spirits who told her that jumping into the water would erase her pain and give her revenge on men like him. She jumped, and now she knows why. Back at the lake's surface, Nini breaks through the water and finds Daisy. She tells her everything. Her real name, her village, her life, her death. She can feel it all again. And inside her chest, something is warming up for the first time in years. She wants to live. The three spirits rise from the water before she can say more. They look at her with narrowed eyes. But this time, Nini stands straight and looks back at them without fear. "I remember my life now," she says, "and I am not going to hunt for you anymore. I know what you really are. You trick grieving girls into drowning themselves so that you can use them as weapons. You erase their memories and fill them with hatred so they stay obedient. But you are the ones who need human energy, not us, not the witches. We have never needed anything from you." The spirits freeze. "From today," Nini says, "I am done." The spirits are furious. They look at each other with dangerous eyes. Tonight is the final night of the special week, the most critical night of the ritual. They cannot afford disobedience. Not now. So they make a plan. First, they send a different witch disguised as Nini to Ron's tent. The witch takes Nini's face, Nini's voice, Nini's appearance perfectly. Ron has no idea. He thinks it is the real Nini, and he follows her into his tent. Then, the spirits find the real Nini and tell her to go look at Ron. You trusted him so much, they say with cold smiles. Go see what kind of man he really is. Nini walks to the tent and looks inside. She sees Ron. She sees the witch wearing her face. She sees what is happening. Her heart drops like a stone. The witch looks at Ron and gives him a command. Tell that girl outside to go away. Ron, still under the spell, turns to the entrance of the tent and tells Nini to leave. She stands there. Tears burn in her eyes. She turns to walk away, but at the last second she looks back, and the witch shifts into the form of Tina, kissing Ron. Nini cannot understand the trick. All she sees is Ron with another girl. All she feels is the old pain, back again, exactly like before. She starts walking toward the lake. On the way, the group of hunters appears and surrounds her. They have been told a witch has been taking their companions. They point their guns at her. When she shoves one aside, another fires. The bullet hits her, and something inside Nini breaks open. Not grief this time, rage. She transforms, witch form, full power, and destroys the hunters one by one. Somewhere else in the forest, Ron's friend is moving through the camp with the special stone in his hand. The witches try to approach him, but the stone repels them. He realizes something is deeply wrong and runs to find Ron. He bursts into the tent. Ron is sitting there, eyes completely white, deep in a trance. The witch is standing beside him, smiling. Ron's friend holds up the stone. The spell shatters. Ron blinks. He looks at the witch beside him and sees the marks on her back. The glowing symbols. The same ones he saw on Nini. But something is wrong. These ones look different. Darker. Are you a witch? He asks. Did you disguise yourself as Nini? The witch drops the disguise and smiles. It is Tina. Or rather, a version of Tina who drowned in the lake and became a witch, driven by her desire for revenge against Ron. Yes, she says. I wanted to break your heart the way you broke mine, and I used Nini to do it. Right now, she is heading toward the lake, heartbroken, convinced you betrayed her, and once she goes back in, her witch body will be destroyed. She will be gone forever. On the lake shore, the three spirits surround the crying Nini. You see, they say sweetly, men are all the same. They all betray. Let us help you. Let us take away your pain. Let us dissolve your witch body and end your suffering. And Ron will spend the rest of his life feeling guilty. Nini, lost in grief, agrees. The spirits chant. They push her under. Her witch body begins to dissolve in the cold, dark water. And then Ron arrives. He runs to the lake shore, panting, holding the stone around his neck. He looks at the three spirits and shouts, "What did you do with Nini? Where is she?" The spirits tell him calmly that she is already dissolving below. Her body is almost gone. There is nothing he can do. Ron does not stop. He ties the stone around his neck and dives in. He swims down past the weeds, past the cold, past everything. At the bottom, he finds what is left of Nini's witch body, already nearly gone, melted into the dark water. He calls her name. Her soul drifts toward him, a faint, sad light, nearly gone, nearly trapped here forever. Ron tells her the truth. He tells her that he loves her. He tells her that everything she saw was a trick, a witch wearing her face, a plan designed to destroy her. He never betrayed her. He never would. The grief lifts, and something extraordinary happens. Nini's soul hears real love, genuine, clear, and honest, for the first time since she died. And that love is stronger than the lake. It is stronger than the spell. It is stronger than the cold and the dark and the anger that has kept her trapped here for so long. Her soul flows back into her human body, her original body, not the witch body, her real body, lying at the bottom of the lake since the day she drowned. She opens her eyes. She's alive, but the water is deep, and Ron is not made of magic. He brought her back, but he cannot survive the same place that dissolved her witch form. He goes still. Nini pulls him to the surface. She carries him to the shore and lays him down. His eyes are closed. He is not breathing. Above them, the lake is chaos. It is the final night of the special week. The ritual is in its last stage. Witches and spirits fill the surface, pulling the hypnotized students and villagers toward the water. The professor, the students, the shopkeeper, all of them are drifting toward the shore, empty-eyed, helpless. But Nini knows something. On the last night before sunrise, the energy that has been collected all week floats at the top of the lake. Visible, accessible, not yet locked in the ritual. And the souls of people who drowned here cannot leave until the ritual is fully complete. Nini stands at the water's edge and pulls the floating energy toward her, pulling it out of the lake with everything she has. She places her hands on Ron's face and pushes it into him. Ron gasps. His eyes open. He is alive. Nini turns to face the other witches and speaks loudly. "The spirits lied to you," she says. "They don't care about you. They erase your memories and fill your hearts with hatred so you stay obedient. They use your anger to collect the energy they need to survive, energy that has nothing to do with justice or revenge. It is just fuel for them. But if you remember who you were, your family, your name, your story, they cannot control you. They never could." The witches go still. One by one they look inward. Something stirs. An old name, a face, a memory of sunlight or a mother's voice. The spirits watch in horror as the witches begin to remember. And then, the sun begins to rise. The first light breaks through the trees and hits the water. The ritual is incomplete. The spirits did not fill the lake in time. Nini used the energy to bring Ron back. The ritual has failed. The rising sun pulls every witch and every spirit back down into the depths of the lake. They have no choice. Without the ritual energy, they are dragged back into the deep water for another 4 years, powerless, empty, with nothing but darkness and cold waiting. On the shore, the hypnotized people blink and look around. Their minds clear. Everyone slowly comes back to themselves. Everyone is alive. Ron sits up on the shore. Nini sits beside him, breathing, alive, warm for the first time in years. He looks at her. She looks at him. There is so much to say, and nothing that needs to be said. Within the hour, tents are packed and everyone is heading back to the road. Nobody talks much. Everyone has the same look. The look of people who got very close to something they cannot explain, and have decided that is more than enough. The forest goes quiet again. The lake sits still and dark, its surface smooth as glass. Somewhere at the bottom, the spirits wait, weakened, hungry, furious, but silent, defeated, because a girl remembered who she was, and a boy refused to let her forget it.